you were here last time.
No sé, son las 6, ¿sí? Ah, si alguien está viendo este video después de la clase, bueno, qué lástima que perdiste todas las historias. What a shame that you missed our stories. Okay. Bienvenidos y bienvenidas. Sí, espero que ustedes estén bien. ¿Todo está bien?
Sí, sí.
¿Todo va bien?
Muy bien.
Excelente, excelente. Bueno, vamos a empezar. Vamos a practicar principalmente con la idea de usar dos verbos juntos hoy, pero vamos a practicar con otros ejemplos, ejemplos con verbos que no usamos la semana pasada, algo nuevo, ¿sí? Y voy a escuchar si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta. Antes de empezar, voy a decirles, I am going to tell you guys, I will take questions after our practice session. Para que sepan, we're not going to start with this, but any questions you might have had on this homework video, which was a little story, yeah, using, two different kinds of past tense. Well, a mix a little bit of everything. Or if you had any questions on this, and this was a story, but the purpose was to show you that the same base information can be given at many different levels. And whatever level you're at, perdón, I need to put the screens on, perdón. Rebobinar, rewind. Yeah. If you had questions about the lost my glasses story, if you have questions about the story, same story told at 3 different levels, I'll take any questions you have after our practice for class today on the 2-verb thing. Okay? Vale? Sí? Bien. El punto aquí, the point here with this story that was about, sí, de Antonio Banderas. La historia muy breve de Antonio Banderas, su carrera, todo eso. Cómo empezó en actuar en el cine y todo eso. Ok. Lo importante, the important thing, lo importante es que podemos usar podemos contar una historia en un nivel muy básico, pero también en un nivel un poquito más complicado con el pasado, con el uso de un verbo nuevo, ¿sí? O dos verbos nuevos, o una descripción adicional. Bien. Y también entonces en un nivel muy alto con otra vez otro vocabulario. Pero es la misma información, básicamente, ¿verdad? So whatever level you're at, whether it's a little bit lower down, kind of in the middle, or way up here, yeah, we want you to be able to understand stories people tell and to always work for getting the gist, the main ideas when you listen to videos, because the videos you'll get for listening are really super important. They force you to listen for the main ideas and then fill out as many details as you can. And then learn to plug in the holes of what you don't understand with a second or a third listening. And of course, coming to class and asking questions later. So I'll take questions on that when we're done with our verb practice. Bien? ¿Todo bien? Ok, vale, fantástico. Adelante, adelante, adelante. La semana pasada practicamos con algo básico, fácil, ¿sí? La idea de combinar dos verbos. ah, ah, en este caso de la semana pasada, con querer, necesitar, poder, tener que. And this was a good way when you add two verbs together, you can add in a new verb that you're not real confident of in that second infinitive part, because you don't have to conjugate that second infinitive part. So if you want to say something like, tenía que freír los huevos, I had to fry the eggs, but you're not confident with using freír because it's that oddball I stem change, and you didn't want to have to think of how do I use that in the past? Yeah, you can take freír and use it with tener que, and still get the same idea across, but use this two verb combination. So, and besides that, this kind of fits into that 80-20 rule. We use 20% of the words 80% of the time. We kind of recycle them and reuse them different ways. So these verbs are super common. So we're going to take different verbs, new verbs. Vamos a practicar con otros verbos, pero con la misma idea de usar dos verbos juntos, dos verbos juntos. Entonces, los verbos son más básicos, los verbos más comunes. Y hoy, esta noche, un momentito, vamos vamos a practicar con tres. Gustar es para la semana que viene, ¿sí? Gustar hoy no, pero la semana que viene. Vamos a practicar con ir a. Uy, qué fácil. Ir a. Ir a. Con acabar de. También fácil. Con volver a. Volver a. Eso es un poquito más complicado, pero muy común. Estos verbos son muy comunes. Ustedes van a practicar o preparar el verbo gustar más tarde durante toda la semana. Ok, vamos a empezar con ir a. Estos son verbos comunes de usar juntos. These are verbs that come up a lot in conversation. Okay, so that's the reason we're taking them. They will not be the only verbs that do the two verb combination, but we want to pick the ones you tend to hear a lot because everybody uses them. Okay, ir a infinitivo. Un verbo a go-to verb. Es la manera de expresar el futuro. Y todo el mundo, todas las personas usan ir a un verbo siempre, cada día, muchas veces durante el día, ¿sí? Hay un tiempo formal que se llama el futuro, pero no es muy común en la conversación
No.
cada día.
Quiet.
¿Sí? Entonces, ir a infinitivo. La palabrita es muy importante, muy importante. Hay que usar la palabra ¿sí? Vale, bueno, ok. Y la manera de practicar que vamos a usar es que cuando una persona practica una estructura, ¿sí? Es buena idea usar primero la forma yo del verbo y la forma de nosotros del verbo, porque es tan común cuando hablamos de yo, hablamos de nosotros, porque estoy en un grupo, quizás mi familia o mi comunidad o algo así, o la clase, bien, y entonces puedes practicar con otras formas del verbo más tarde. ¿Bien? Ok, vale, fácil. Entonces, vamos a practicar con la forma de yo, la forma de nosotros. Voy a. Dos ejemplos con voy a, dos ejemplos con vamos a, ¿sí? Y deben hablar de lo que van a hacer esta noche, mañana, dentro de poco, in a little while, dentro de poco, ¿sí? Esta semana. Y entonces, dos ejemplos con vamos a, para practicar la forma de nosotros. Quiero que ustedes usen, por favor, algo extra. Add an extra idea. Not just voy a caminar. Pero, por ejemplo, más información. Voy a caminar mañana por la mañana con mi vecina porque hace buen calor. ¿Bien? Un poquito más de información. No just voy a caminar con mi. Voy a caminar. Nada más. Más información. ¿Entienden?
Sí.
Ok, vale. Este ejemplo es tan fácil, sí, y el ejemplo que tengo aquí es, por ejemplo, voy a copiar el video en YouTube a las 2. O voy a copiar el video de YouTube después de la clase ah, para cada persona, ¿sí? Bien, algo así, ¿ok? You will see this example when you go off into your little rooms. This is going to be a short one because this will probably be an easy one. Okay, fácil. This will probably be an easy one to do. Everybody in the world does. Vamos a, like, yeah, first, second week, I don't know, fourth week of a Spanish class, and you feel comfortable. We want to do the comfortable examples first, and then we'll bump it up to do something a little bit harder with the same idea when you're done with this level of practice. ¿Está bien? ¿Sí? Ok. Entonces, con este ejemplo, vamos a ver. Sí, un momentito. Estoy arreglando las cosas un poquito aquí. Bien. Bien. Ok. Solamente 5 minutos. And I'm giving you 5 minutes only because you're adding an extra idea to each sentence, not really because the voy a is hard to use. Okay? ¿Vale? ¿Sí? Bien. Después de la práctica, ¿sí? Entonces, vamos a hablar todos juntos, de buenos ejemplos durante la práctica o de problemitas. We'll talk about any little problems, any questions you had with it, or great examples that you had.
Ay,
¿Sí? ¿Entienden?
sí.
Vale, perfecto. Okay, you will see the prompt on the screen when you hit your join button. If I am fast enough to get my example into your rooms. Okay, 5 minutos nada más aquí. 5, tengo mi cronómetro, mi cronómetro en mi nuevo reloj inteligente, el regalo que mi esposo me dio para la Navidad. Este paso es muy, muy fácil, ¿verdad? Sí. Vale, fantástico. Y vamos a ver. Ok. Y los cuartitos de breakout van a cerrar en 30 segundos. En 30 segundos.
All right.
Muy
Great.
bien. Hola. Ok. Aquí vienen todos. Here comes everybody back. Fantástico. Bueno, vale. What I want everybody to do every time, because you'll pop in and out quite a bit tonight. When you come back in, what we want to do is share examples that you thought worked really well or ask questions about. I wanted to say this, but I didn't know how. ¿Así? ¿Bien? Ok, vale. Hay un buen ejemplo que ustedes quieren compartir con el grupo entero, ¿o no? Esto es fácil, ¿sí?
Sí,
¿Sí? ¿Bien? ¿Bien? ¿Un ejemplo o no?
sí,
Cindy,
está
vale.
bien. Sí, voy a leer un libro sobre la tierra en Arizona.
Excelente, sí. Con más información. Perfecto, gracias, Cindy. Bueno, otro ejemplo. No, sí, Federico.
I think our group has just discovered that you really can't get away with saying ejercicio without putting hacer in front of it.
Ah,
Let me give you the example. I had voy a caminar juntos mi esposa porque, and the first time I had queremos ejercicio, but then I believe I can't say that. I got to say queremos hacer.
queremos hacer ejercicio.
Uh-huh.
Queremos
See,
hacer ejercicio, ¿sí?
once again, the rest of my group is smarter than me.
queremos practicar, queremos hacer ejercicio, vamos a hacer, ¿sí? Vamos a hacer ejercicio así. Bien.
Okay,
Vale.
gracias.
Bueno, por lo general. In a couple little places, occasionally you hear somebody using ejercicio as a verb form, but not very many, very, very infrequently. Most people use it as hacer ejercicio. Ok, vale, perfecto. Ok, ¿hay alguna pregunta? Any question? Anything that was kind of a stumbling block or a little tough? Or no?
Pues, okay.
Ok, vale. La cosa muy importante es que no olvidamos la palabrita a. Okay, this is one of those verbs that you just need to make yourself remember. Ir a, ir a, ir a. Ir always uses a as an addition. Okay, vale. Entonces, adelante, adelante. Vamos a seguir con práctica en un nivel un poquito más difícil, pero un poquito. No es muy, muy, muy difícil. Vale, entonces, lo que ustedes van a hacer en el próximo ejercicio es esto. Voy a, most people who have done any kind of Spanish, it kind of becomes very a natural thing because you use it so often. But what if we want to put it into the past? There's something really specific we need to do with ir a when we use it as a past idea. Okay, not I'm going to go to the supermarket, but oh, I was going to go to the supermarket. Oh, then I got busy. Right? So if you really want to use this as a past idea instead of voy a, vamos a lot of times we do that mental gymnastics. Pretérito, imperfecto, ¿cuál es? Aquí no. Here, there is nothing to think about. It will always go into imperfecto. It just will, okay? And to be honest about that, what I want to make sure is that you do not overthink that. Don't think about why. Why does it use imperfecto? It just does. Yeah. Why it uses that is kind of like not the issue. Not important. Yeah. But just the fact that if you want to use this idea as a past idea, use it with imperfecto. Now, sadly, the tough thing with that is going to be, as ir is so often an irregular verb, it is one of the just three, hay tres verbos irregulares en el imperfecto y ir. Sí, es uno de los tres. Entonces, okay, so what we need to know, we're going to take it on this level of get used to yo first and then nosotros, yo first and then nosotros. And the other forms can sort themselves out later as you hear it more. So that means we're going to be using iba a, right? And if you talk really fast, iba, you're not going to stop really between the iba and the a. They're going to slide together. Iba. You may or may not use a yo, and that whether or not you use yo depends on if the context is clear from other things you've said in your conversation, right? Because iba can go with both yo and to talk about one person by themselves, like Luis iba, Maria iba, usted iba. So with this particular verb, you may hear somebody use the pronoun, okay? Which usually we dump it. We don't need it. So, yo iba íbamos a. La forma de nosotros es generalmente algo fácil. You always know with a nosotros form, it's going to end in a mos. It's just the vowels that combine with the most part that sometimes require a tiny bit of work, but not that much. So, iba a, un ejemplo, iba a, segundo ejemplo, íbamos a, con más información. Entonces, por ejemplo, en el contexto de una conversación de verdad, Luis iba a llegar a las 8, pero todavía no está. ¿Qué pasó? Luis was going to come at 8, but he's not here yet. He's not here yet. What happened? What's up with him? Yeah. Okay. Hey, he was going to do this, but I don't see him around here. So that's the context of that idea being expressed that way. Iba a llegar a las 8, pero todavía no está. Okay.
Marilyn,
¿Entiendes? Sí.
Marilyn, is there ever a time the preterite would be used instead of the imperfect?
Oh, sure.
No.
So it's never
you're-
used.
To express the idea of was going to.
Right,
No.
I went there yesterday. Action
Oh,
over and done.
I went there yesterday.
Mm.
That's different. I was going to go there.
I got you. Thank you.
Ah, okay. Buena
Thank you.
pregunta. La misma pregunta de mi clase durante la mañana. This same thing came up in the morning. It's amazing how the same questions come up. Okay. So that you know you're normal people, because yes, these are normal questions. Okay. Por ejemplo, fui al supermercado esta mañana a las 9. I went to the supermarket at 9 this morning. O fui a la casa de mi mejor amiga ayer. Okay. But that's not was going to do. Yeah. So ir does get used a lot in pretérito, but for actually went somewhere, right? Not was going to. Was going to has to be imperfect. I mean, that's just what everybody uses. Don't worry about why. It's just what everybody uses. Okay. Bien? Mejor? Better?
Sí.
Okay. Perfecto. You will see those examples so that you don't have to memorize them, furiously scratch them down. I am going to, y lo siento, Lisa. Can you hear us at all? No?
Yes, I don't know what is going on. I've never had this happen before, but I somehow managed to unmute and start the video, but
Okay. No te preocupes. Don't worry. If it doesn't
Okay.
work out, see if you can come back to the big group
okay.
and we'll figure that out.
Okay.
You may need to update your Zoom.
I did.
Oh, you did, and it still didn't. Oh, shoot. Okay.
Mhm.
I am going to add one little room because I want to make sure I've just got 3 people for this harder level. Only 3 people per group if I can. Ay, ¿qué más? Un momentito. And we hope you can get in the group there. And if you can't, we'll kind of wing it and
Okay,
figure it out later. So don't sweat it too much.
I won't.
Never sweat anything. Okay. Manny, let me try to put you into that group there, Lisa. And if it doesn't work, come on back to the big group. I got to get this info out to everybody. Mejor. Okay. Vale. Perfecto. Sometimes we have Zoom issues. It happens. Y ahora quizás un poquito más de 5 minutos, maybe a little more than 5 minutes this time, because this is a harder idea to deal with. Let me see if all my people got into their rooms okay. Ooh, yes. Creo que sí, I think so. I think everybody got in okay. Okay, listo. Ah, okay. It won't let me send out a message during the small group work here. We've got about 2 or 3 more minutes. A ver, okay. 2 minutos más. I'm going to give people 2 more minutes since this is a step up from what they did in the first session. Okay. And we will get people to come on back. And here I think we're going to have some more questions probably than first time around, which would be a very normal kind of thing. Bien, dale. Entonces, I imagine we're going to have more questions this time up than we did the first time. That would be kind of a normal thing.
Hey, Marilyn, if you want to brush up on imperfect tense, I was suggesting maybe look at Spanish dictionary because they have the little tiny grammar lessons, but perhaps you have a free site where you could look up something.
Oh, a brush up on,
Imperfect.
oh, perfect tense. Yeah, well, I can suggest some things for a brush up on perfect tense. And perfect,
Imperfect. I meant, imperfect.
oh, imperfect.
Yeah.
Sí, okay, vale. Oh, you know what? I will send to the whole big group. Es buena pregunta. This is a good question. Question was, can we get like a brush up thing? I will send my standard Google Slide notes on imperfecto. Yeah, again, so you can just check it out on your own. And you'll start to hear it more and more in the coming lessons here. It is much easier to use of the two because all verbs are regular except for tres. Yeah, so imperfecto will be the easy one to get back into. Lisa, did you get back in? Okay. See? Okay. No. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I don't know what was I really don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
You're there?
I did
Maybe
kind
I'm
of
not
check on my
hearing.
end. I don't think it's my end. I don't want to say not my
Right.
fault.
It must be a setting.
No es
they-
por mi
yeah.
culpa, pero no, sí, así es, yeah, yeah. So just if something flakes out, just don't go into the small group and stay with me and we'll practice.
Okay.
Para que sepas. So yeah, if you get the, heebie-jeebies on that. Okay, vale. Bueno, entonces, vamos a ver. We're going to see. Now here we should have some good examples and we probably are going to have some questions on how to use this, which would be totally normal. Muy normal, muy normal. Okay, por ejemplo, any great example that you want to share of iba a or íbamos a?
Can I ask one question?
Sí, sí.
I said, iba a llamar mi hermano todos los días. Should there be a personal in there?
Iba a llamar a mi hermana.
Mi hermana. Okay.
A mi hermana, sí.
Okay.
Iba a llamar a mi hermana. ¿Sí?
What is the one more time, what is the rule for that personal ah?
Personal a you'll use when a human being receives the action. So
Action.
what's the action? It's
The call.
llamar. Yeah.
Mhm.
And the person you were going to call is your sister. So we need an a. We need an a no matter if we need an a for your pet.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That too. Okay. People and pets, but we usually talk about people. Now, if that verb is tener or hay, then throw out the personal a. But all the other verbs, if if the thing receiving the action on the receiving end, not doing it, but receiving it, is a human being, we need the a. But we don't use it with the verb tener and we don't use it with the verb hay. So, tengo dos hermanas, no es tengo a dos hermanas, tengo dos hermanas. O hay, hay muchos miembros del club en el salón. Hay muchos miembros del club en
Are they
este salón.
really receiving any action though?
Well, yeah, but don't overthink it. Just know, not tener, yeah? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Is I a
I mean,
verb?
in the structure, if you are the kind of person who remembers what was it, diagramming sentences in English. Oh my God, am I aging myself?
Hated that.
Do they even do that anymore? I don't think my
No,
daughter
I
did
hope
much.
not. No.
Yeah. And was it heinous? Yes, it was. So yeah, okay. Vale, bien. Bueno, Jody, ¿tienes un ejemplo?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a great example, but it's an example.
No importa, doesn't matter.
Iba a caminar al parque, pero está lloviendo.
Sí, eso, muy bien. Buen ejemplo, buen ejemplo. Iba a
Gracias.
caminar en el parque, pero está lloviendo. Okay, vamos a ver. Let's plug in a couple of examples here because I want to show something. Somebody asked this morning, does this matter? And the answer is going to be often. I'm never going to say 100%, but often it does not. Iba a caminar en el parque, pero está lloviendo. Uy, momentito. Bump me out of my accent marks here. And let's also make this a little bit. Voy a engrandecer esto también un poquito. Ok, mejor. Vamos. Sí. Iba a caminar en el parque, pero está lloviendo. I was going to walk in the park, but it's raining. Excelente, see? And what's the extra information she added on? This stuff here. Somebody asked, does it matter that this is está lloviendo when this is iba a caminar? And the answer to that is, depende. What do you mean? Do you mean that it's raining now? Then, yes, está lloviendo, perfecto. But es muy flexible. Which tense you use when you add on a clause or a little hangnail on the end to give more information. It might be presente, it might be something in the past, but it depends on what you personally need to express. This same idea could also be iba a caminar en el parque, pero llovía. But it was raining. Not it's raining now, but it was. They're both correct, but this is a twist on the idea, putting it all in the past. But you might have half in the past, half your foot in right now, and that's fine. See, Jody?
Could you also say estaba lloviendo? Make it
Estaba
faster?
lloviendo, sí,
Okay.
sí.
Good.
También, ¿sí? Ok. Entonces, ustedes deben saber que a veces, y depende siempre del contexto, depende del contexto. It depends on your context, ¿sí? A veces es posible combinar muchos tiempos. ¿Bien? Ok, vale. Hay otro ejemplo, otro buen ejemplo.
Es similar. Íbamos a caminar por el barrio ayer, pero no lo hicimos.
No lo hicimos. Ok. Íbamos a caminar en
Por el barrio,
por el barrio, around. Por el barrio, sí. Es pum. Pero por es around, ¿verdad? Ok. Por el barrio,
ayer,
ayer, pero
no lo hicimos.
no lo hicimos. No lo hicimos, perdón. But we didn't do it. And you're not telling why, yeah. We were going to, but we didn't.
We just didn't get around to it.
Sí. Sí. Íbamos a caminar en el barrio ayer, pero yo no tenía ganas. But I didn't feel like it. Yeah. Es posible también, ¿sí? Vale. Bueno, otro ejemplo. ¿Hay otro? ¿Sí? ¿No?
I have one.
Bueno, sí, Jen.
Iba a cocinar la cena, pero necesito atender la clase de español.
Iba a cocinar esta noche, esta noche, pero, pero, otra vez, attend es
Ya,
asistir.
necesito atender la
Yeah.
clase de español.
Necesito, pero necesito asistir.
Asistir. Oh,
Asistir a mi clase de español. Sí,
because
exacto.
atender was listed as
Sí, hay un verbo atender, pero atender no quiere decir attend an event. Atender quiere decir, por ejemplo, el doctor atiende al paciente ahora. The doctor is tending to the patient.
taking care of, kind of.
Taken
Oh,
care of.
Mhm.
Yeah, taken
like
care of.
attending to
There
something.
you go.
Attending
but
to
not
somebody.
to,
How often do you say in English attending to somebody? Not often. Do you know what it means? Yes, you do. But conversationally, it's kind of
No, we don't
fallen
use
out. Yeah. Might you read it in a novel? Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, some really dramatic thing. They might phrase it that way, but yeah. Sí. Asistir. Pero
Wait.
necesito asistir. Ok. Sí.
We had a question come up.
Sí, sí.
If you're going to say, I was going to go somewhere,
Ujú.
isn't it okay to say, iba a ir?
Sí,
Or-
se puede, sí. Iba a
Okay.
ir. Sí,
Okay.
es posible, sí. No sería muy frecuente, pero es posible. Iba a ir,
Iba
iba a ir,
a ir a la tienda.
sí. Iba a salir, iba a partir, iba a ir, sí, es posible. You can combine. Voy a ir. Como en presente, just in present, you can say, voy a ir, I'm gonna go. Sí, así, es correcto. Ok, Y voy a enseñarles, I'm going to show you guys, voy a enseñarles las posibilidades que existen aquí. Otro ejemplo, con cocinar, por ejemplo. Iba a cocinar mi receta favorita, pero, pero me falta un ingrediente. Pero me falta un ingrediente, ¿sí? Pero me falta, y se puede decir, por ejemplo, en vez de me falta, no tengo, es lo mismo, es lo mismo. No tengo, me falta, no tengo. No tengo un ingrediente. No tengo un ingrediente esencial.
Mhm.
Ok, bien, sí, pero aquí estoy expresando la idea de que el ingrediente ahorita no está bien, aunque aquí tenemos una idea en el pasado, puedo combinar una idea del pasado con una idea en presente.
Mhm.
Y es correcto, ¿sí? Pero también es posible combinar las ideas así. Ir a cocinar, pero no tenía un ingrediente esencial,
Mhm.
¿sí? Ok, entonces, bueno, ¿cuál es correcto? Presente aquí, el pasado aquí. Depende.
Sí.
Depende en tu idea, ¿bien? Ok,
Marilyn,
sí, dime.
uh, I'm probably going to screw myself up on this.
No, está bien.
Uh, can you, Irse, can you say me iba a la tienda? Or is that totally nuts?
¿Me iba?
Sí,
No.
I'm getting
Not with
myself out
going
here
to
to the
go,
store.
was going to go.
So you would have
Me.
to, use yo iba a.
No, irse es más específico. Irse is a little more specific. We use irse. It doesn't
Really?
sound like it should be that different, but irse es como go away. ¿Sí?
Okay, so
La
I
idea de
say me
go
voy,
away.
I'm going away.
Me
But you,
voy. I'm
but
out
you
of here.
can't, could you say me voy a la tienda? I'm out here to the store?
No, por lo general, generally, most of the time we use me voy just to say I'm out of
I'm
here.
gone.
And usually we don't pair it up. Now that's not to say that somebody somewhere could include information, but generally when you include information about where you're going, it's not the irse.
Iba.
It's
It's
just
iba. Okay,
sí.
thank you.
You might say me fui de, I got out of, and name where you
Mhm.
ran out of.
No,
Yeah.
awesome.
But yeah, sí. Ok. Vale, bueno. ¿Hay otro ejemplo o hay otra pregunta? Ok. Esta idea es más complicada. This was a bump up. Yeah. What we wanted to show you is you can move from using this structure about right now. You can move this structure into the past. But
Mhm.
with this particular verb, you need to know, with this particular idea, you need to know that it's going to be imperfecto, iba a, okay? So we're not going to have a fui a or fuimos a. We're not going to have that, yeah? It's always going to be iba a, íbamos a. Why that happens, no importa, doesn't really matter to you. You just need to know the structure that people expect. This is what people expect to hear if you're talking about it in the past. And here are a lot of good examples. Buenos ejemplos, okay. Buenos ejemplos y muchas posibilidades. So you see that you can combine this or add to your complexity lots of different ways, as long as it makes sense, right? See? Bien? Okay, vale. But ir a needs to do something specific. We're going to take a look at what happens with this two verb combination. See? Acabar de, just like ir a needs that little word a, la palabrita a, aquí, de. Muy importante, muy importante. Acabar has a meaning by itself when I don't combine it, and it just means to finish, right? You know, if you get to a meeting late and everybody's gone, anybody ever had that happen? Yeah, everybody took off, it's gone. You thought you got your time wrong and you get there and nobody in the room. And, you know, and some poor guy is sweeping the floor as you come up and nobody's in the room. And, you know, the guy is likely to look at you and say, se acabó. It's done. It's all over. Se acabó, right? So acabar by itself means something's over, done, kaput, okay? Go back home, bye-bye, have a nice life, that kind of thing, okay? Se acabó. But acabar de, es importante combinar la palabra de con el infinitivo to have just done something. And this is very wonderful because the only thing you need to know about this is that we use it in presente, but we're really talking about something that is done. Okay, so the only caveat you need to know, because, well, acabar es un verbo muy regular. Acabo, acabas, acaba, acabamos, acaban. Regular, muy regular. Pero, en presente, even though it talks about something that is done, we get to do kind of a cheat and just use acabar in present, okay? It really indicates a past action. So the tiny thing you do need to remember is that usually this needs to be recent past, okay? You know, if it's not in the time frame of today, stay away from this one, right? But if it was 2 hours ago, if it was, you know, this afternoon, this works, yeah? And you need that little word de. So we're going to stick with the same pattern of ustedes van a practicar con la forma de yo, con la forma de nosotros, dos ejemplos en este caso, ¿sí? Con de, con un infinitivo, ¿sí? Add some more details. Now, this is going to be easy. Don't be thinking about preterite. Preterite isn't going to come you know, into the picture here because we keep acabo or acabar en presente. ¿Sí? ¿Bien? Vale, bueno. Otra vez. Creo que solamente 5 minutos. ¿Les parece bien? Decimo querido? Sí, 5 minutos. This is an easier structure. You know, do think about adding on some extra information, of course. And Lisa, see if it works to go in, and if it doesn't, just stay in here. 5 minutos nada más. Y tengo que añadir la estructura con share otra vez. Vale, perfecto.
Oh, my share button. Oh, here.
Okay. The share screen should be coming up for you guys pretty quickly. Bien, sí. Vale, muy bien. Acabo de usar el botón de share con los cuartos pequeños. Acabo de tomar una sorba de té. Es mi té con cereza. Es un té herbal, un té sin cafeína, porque no quiero tomar cafeína después de las 5 de la tarde. Es para mí, muy mala idea. Si quiero dormir durante la noche. Vale, bien. Making sure everybody's microphones are working in their little rooms. Ok. Voy a enviarles el mensaje. Aquí. Vamos a regresar al grupo principal en un minuto. Ok. Bueno, pues, a ver. Muy bien, excelente. Hola, Pat, bienvenida otra vez. Vamos a ver, vamos a ver. Bueno, fantástico. Estos ejemplos más fáciles. These are easier examples, ¿no?
Somewhat. It's the
No.
words. Sometimes I want to say something. I wanted to say the old one. How do you say the old one?
The old one depends on
Yeah,
what thing is.
I bought something new because there was something wrong with the old one.
El
Right.
viejo,
Just say that, El Viejo. Okay.
el viejo, the old one, sí,
Okay.
el viejo. O la vieja, sí. Depende de la cosa, depends on the thing, yeah.
Okay.
We asked a question that came up in our little group was, we were talking about the word vegetables and how it can be called verduras or vegetales. What's the difference and where do you use each? Oh, who knows?
Oh,
The only,
good.
No, verduras has more of like, like in English, how we have that word greens. And generally when somebody uses greens, they're talking about, like leafy. So some people kind of take that as a guide. Verduras, muy general. Legumbres kind of more along that line of kind of a legume kind of thing. So some people go down that path. Verduras, muy normal. You'll hear people mixing terms all the time, even regionally. So, yeah, sí.
Okay, gracias.
Okay.
Bueno, acabar de. ¿Hay un ejemplo o hay una pregunta?
Mm.
¿Hay buen ejemplo? Sí.
I have a question. Can you make this the negative? Can you say no wait, what is it? Acabo?
Oh, es buen.
Hey,
Acabo.
I didn't just finish it.
Técnicamente sí, pero no creo que sea muy común. I don't think that's real common to use this one. I mean, technically, it's possible to make anything with a no. No acabo de. I didn't just.
Fall off the script.
Sí. Ok, este ejemplo. Ok. En este contexto, y depende del contexto. Por lo general, no. En teoría, sí. En práctica, un contexto específico. Por ejemplo, si yo tengo 2 hijos adolescentes que son adolescentes muy difíciles, ¿sí?
Okay.
Y estos adolescentes no hacen lo que yo les digo. If they don't do what I tell them to, ¿ya? Y sí, repito muchas veces, sí. Bueno, hijos, la mamá hablando. Hijos, no acabo de decirles que sus cuartos que sus cuartos están muy sucios. No acabo de decirles esto. Didn't I just tell you this? Es posible, pero muy específico. It is possible to use it in negative. It is grammatically certainly possible, but you probably won't hear it a lot unless it's somebody doing that. Hey, didn't I just do this? And, it's with a finger wag. Or, maybe I'm forgetful. Oh, yeah, maybe I'm so, maybe I am multitasking to the degree that I totally don't know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah. Acabo de enviar enviar ese email. Didn't I just send that email? In that context. So theoretically, yes. In practice, yes, but it'll be kind of a narrow window for using it as a no. Es buen punto. Ok. Pero estos ejemplos son más fáciles, ¿sí? ¿Verdad? Ok. Una cosita. Acabar. Perdón. Share screen. Ayuda mucho. Ok. Don't bother with this if you want to talk about the past. Okay. So in the other examples, we did have past ideas. It is possible to use acabar in pretérito, but it's not a real common kind of structure. It would need pretty specific context. So don't worry about it. So what do you do instead? Okay. If you really want to talk about something in the past, Just keep acabar de for recent past things. Acabar is not going to go into, it technically can go into preterite. It technically can go into imperfecto. You could even, I'm sure if I looked hard enough, and I would have to look pretty hard, I could find an example, but I would have to search high and low to find an example because it's not very common. Yeah. So we're not going to use this particular verb acabar in any kind of a past. If you really want to use past, do know that there are structures for using past tense, but acabar itself will seldom in the average chit chat that we do be conjugated for preterite. If we really want to do that, just take the main verb. Yeah. Go with pretérito. Present perfect if you want to, but used a lot in Spain, but used less frequently in Latin America, or imperfecto, and really knowing that switch between imperfecto, why we use it, and pretérito is enough to get you by for most. The perfect tenses are kind of important to know here and there. Having said that, you're going to hear a little bit of the perfect tense in this week's homework video. Just know that a lot of people like to use it in Spain a lot, kind of in the way that acabar de is used in that context about something really recent, okay? And it's just a form of haber plus an hado ido. So, he comido, hemos comido, los niños han comido, the kids have eaten. That's all that present perfect does. These three things often are used for past ideas, but don't worry about putting like acabar into pretérito, because that's not going to be a usual thing. Okay, vale. We're going to do some of these together, because this one is a little bit more difficult, and then I'm going to preview what I want you to prep for next week. Volver a. Okay, vale. Volver a es again. Volver no es again. Volver es to return, to come back, ¿verdad? Entonces, si vamos a interpretar la idea, el concepto de usar volver, es que if you come back to a certain activity, that means you're doing it again. So, volver, solamente volver, sin infinitivo. Volver all by its lonesome self is just return, come back, right? But if you return to an activity, which is what you're doing if you're adding on a second verb, right? That means you're doing it again. So for those of you who really need to know, why did they do that? Well, okay, this is sort of, I guess, maybe a why. But es posible. It is possible to use this in presente and in pretérito. We're going to do maybe a couple of examples, but this all together so that we save a little bit of time to do something kind of fun at the end. And so we're just going to show you this. There are words for again. One phrase for again is otra vez, literally another time. Another phrase for again is de nuevo, como en inglés, anew. How many of you ever, he is driving anew. He was ill. He could not drive. He had a surgery, but you're never going to say anew. Nobody does that. Look at you like, what's wrong with you? Okay, but otra vez de nuevo. Using this verb, volver a, means I can take these two words out. They go bye-bye. Bye-bye. You don't have to use otra vez. You don't have to use de nuevo because the verb itself does that job. Okay, so you won't use this verb and then add on otra vez because that would be like super redundant and sound weird. So, vuelvo a, volvemos a. Yo vuelvo a. Nosotros volvemos a. Un ejemplo aquí. Ya vuelvo a limpiar la cocina. Wow, I'm cleaning the kitchen again.
Mm.
Ya, again, I'm cleaning the, sí. Ya vuelvo a limpiar la cocina. Hay otro ejemplo en presente con vuelvo o volvemos. Otro ejemplo. This one is kind of a sticky one for a lot of English speakers because we're so used to volver meaning return that when you just have that little word of it's like, what? It's hard for us to remember that tagging on an infinitive means do it again.
How about
Okay. It's the ya. Does that mean something or it's
Oh,
just like the emphasis?
yeah means about 16 different things. Yeah, it's just, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. You're just using it here for just,
Yeah means this. Yeah means this feeling. Oh,
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, already.
yeah.
Okay. How
Yeah.
about vuelvo a escuchar la video?
Vuelvo a escuchar el video. I'm listening to the video again. Vuelvo a escuchar el video. ¿Sí?
how about vuelvo a la clase de español?
Vuelvo a la clase de español just means I'm coming back to.
Uh-huh.
It doesn't mean I'm doing something again. Cindy, vuelvo a asistir. Vuelvo a asistir a la clase de español.
Asistir.
Because we do use vuelvo a, and then you name a place, right? That's the first way we use volver. But then somebody says, vuelvo a asistir, vuelvo a escuchar. And you're like, I'm coming back to listen. Nah, well, yes, you are. I'm revisiting that. I'm doing it again. Sí, vuelvo a asistir. I'm attending again.
Gracias.
So
Ya.
en este caso, es correcto decir vuelvo a la clase de español. Sí, correcto, perfecto, perfecto. Pero también con dos verbos, vuelvo a asistir, vuelvo a asistir. Sí, vuelvo a montar en bicicleta el jueves. Vuelvo a montar en bicicleta en el parque el jueves. I am cycling again on Thursday. Así. Bien. Okay. Otro ejemplo. What happens with that in the past? Muy común. Pero por lo general es más común con este concepto en pretérito. Because if you did something again, it's over and done, usually, yeah? Yeah. Es posible decir volvía a, pero no es tan común. It's not as common to use imperfecto with this because usually when you say you did something again, that means it's over and done, yeah? Not a habit, yeah? Okay. Es posible, pero no es tan común. Volví a, I did something again. Volvimos a, we did something again. See? And actually this one can go out into that realm of, you hear it a lot to talk about other people too. So we're going to preview what that sounds like this. See? Mi colega, perdón. Primero un ejemplo con yo. Un ejemplo con yo. Volví a, volví a lavar la ropa, por ejemplo. Volví a lavar la ropa. I washed the clothes again.
All the time.
¿Sí?
Yeah.
Todavía hay manchas. There are still stains. Todavía mi ropa todavía está manchada. My clothes are still stained. Volví a lavar la ropa. I washed it again. Okay. O, por ejemplo, un ejemplo con nosotros. Un ejemplo de ustedes con nosotros. Volvimos a.
Volvimos a estudiar.
Volvimos a estudiar. ¿Sí? Volvimos la lección. Perfecto. Sí, claro. Volvimos a estudiar la lección. We studied the lesson again. ¿Sí? Ah, no entendimos la lección. Así que volvimos a estudiar. We didn't understand, so we studied it again. Volvimos a estudiar. Y es muy común oír, por ejemplo, volver a hablando de otra gente. Por ejemplo, mi colega en la oficina volvió a trabajar en ese proyecto. My colleague at work, worked on that project again. Right? Our again has to come way in English. Worked again on that project, worked on that project again, pero sí, again, pero aquí again es volvió a. O, un ejemplo, hablando de un grupo de personas aquí, como por ejemplo mis hijos o mis nietos, sí, volvieron a viajar a Nueva York. They traveled to New York again. Yeah, they did it sometime before, but they're doing it. They did it again. Okay. Somebody who was a real sports fan this morning, el equipo volvió a ganar. Wow, the team won again. Sí,
Surprise.
sí. Tengo que cambiar esto un poquito. Sí, o lo opuesto, todo lo opuesto, volvió a perder. He lost again. Volvió a perder. ¿Sí? ¿Así? Bien. Ok. Lo que ustedes van a preparar para la semana que viene. What you're going to prepare are going to be the last 2 slides of this. So I'll include the whole set one more time in the email that you'll get tomorrow morning. Okay, no biggie. But you're just going to look at these 2. We're going to take that last verb, but I want you guys to work it a little bit. You're going to do easy level and prep some examples, and the easy level is going to be like massive no-brainer. Okay, gustar. Yeah. Gustar, remember, but this verb is a little bit different. El verbo gustar no es como los otros verbos, ¿sí? No usamos gustar en la forma de yo. No usamos la forma de gustar en forma de nosotros. If you use gusto and gustamos, you are going into that kind of the hey, baby, wink, wink at the guy / gal at the end of the bar. Gustar, when you conjugate it into other stuff, starts to have a kind of hey baby idea behind it. So cuidado, careful, yeah. People do use it, yeah. Wow, I like him. Wow. She's hot, he's hot, yeah, all that stuff. So, right. Most of the time we use and y más, and more than that. Gustar, when we use it with a verb, is always going to be gusta. Yeah. So it's a no-brainer, this part, because you don't have to think hard. What you do have to think about is that the pronoun tells who likes something. Okay. So I want you to prep some ideas with gustar plus a verb, not I like beef, not I like chicken. Those are things. I like to do something, okay? But remember, you've got to have a pronoun that tells the who likes it part, because this is an oddball verb, right? It's a backwards verb, essentially, to the English-speaking mind. So you're going to prepare some examples of this. Presente, no-brainer, muy fácil. Pan comido. Easy peasy, pan comido. Easy as eating bread. Okay. El pasado no es pan comido. The past of this is not really so pan comido. You might hear pretérito, you might hear imperfecto, but the connotation is different. So ponder that a little bit, come up with some examples next week. This one causes people typically some issues, some problems, and that would be normal. You may have to ask a couple questions, but just know if you're talking about a habit in the past, keep it as gustaba, right? If you're talking about something that's more of a reaction to what was going on, you did something for the first time, you know, whatever, then you got to be thinking in pretérito. So depende, it depends. So that one's a little bit trickier. Okay, so you're gonna ponder those last two. Oh, I was hoping to fit in a video. No, okay. We'll save the video for fun for next week. Bien. Tarea. What we're going to do is, one of the things that we I wanted you to do was to always to add on information.
Conectores.
And the idea of adding on information blends in beautifully to this idea of conectores.
Conectores.
So you're going to get, actually, this is a story video for the most part. He's going to sprinkle in conectores, connectors, things that we use to add in information, and they have different meanings. You'll see them as he goes along. Now, when he tells his story, which is going to be a goofy story, as it always is with, Español con Juan, you may need to slow him down a little, and I want to show people who may not know how to slow him down. First of all, if you want to turn on closed captions, that is fine. But in this case, besides hitting that CC button down here, you may also have to hit that gear, that is settings button, and tell it to put the subtitles in Spanish. I do not want you to listen to subtitles in it with the subtitles in English, because that defeats the purpose. I want you to hear how the words hang together. Yeah. Make sure you tell it Spanish, otherwise it's going to maybe kick into like automatic English subtitles, and that defeats the purpose. And if you really want to slow him down, hit the settings button again, and then hit playback speed. But the slowest I want you to play him, if, you know, it kind of petrifies you, because some people feel petrified, do not play below that 0.75. All right, because otherwise it just comes out sounding weird and unnatural. So you might need to slow him down a little bit. Go for the big idea. He's going to tell a silly story with a lot of connectors. Okay, bien. And so it's not really a grammar lesson. It's how to add on extra ideas, just like you added on extra ideas, but he's going to use specific phrases to do that. Okay. And then we're going to have for you also a little reading thing. And here's what we're going to do with the reading thing. El artículo. Quiero que ustedes lean, por favor, que lean este artículo. Es un artículo de hacer ejercicio. Hacer ejercicio. Ay, sí, qué bien. El senderismo, hiking. Un sendero es trail. Sí, trail. El senderismo es tan bueno o mejor que caminar. Empieza a practicarlo con estos consejos. Ok, vale. Es fácil. This is an easy thing to read. I do not want you to look up a whole bunch of words. I want you to come back. If there's something you cannot figure out from context, kind of underline it or whatever. Mark it down, make a note. I want you to go for the big idea, most of it. And we have something that did not plug in there properly. Okay. Aquí. Okay. La idea general. And we're going to use this too, because some people did suggest last session that they like to see a reading, be able to practice it when they have time during the week, and then use it a little bit to do some pronunciation practice with reading aloud when they come back to class. So we'll read a little bit aloud for those of you who want to participate in that. We'll read some snippets here for some speaking practice, pronunciation practice of something you've already read, so you've had a chance to see it before, you're not on the spot. And then we're going to have at the end some really general questions about how you feel about this topic in general and conversation related to the article. ¿Sí? ¿Bien? ¿Todo bien? Okay.
Sí.
Vale. Do keep in mind that the story you're going to hear from Español Juan is pretty silly. Not actually as silly as, not as silly as this one. This is going to be a good one. Gotta be a minute. Oh, this guy is so funny. He's very tongue-in-cheek, but yeah. But we'll hopefully maybe open with him next week, because that is I don't want to give you 2 videos because I'm afraid it'll be kind of overkill. Too much to do. Okay. Game?
Sí,
Bien,
sí.
bien.
Bien.
Okay, so what we want you to start to notice is get comfortable with tenses popping in and out, like going from present to commands to some past. You're gonna read is gonna be, the reading is gonna be a little bit of a mix, but mostly present, a few commands sprinkled in there. And you'll recognize them probably when you read them. And the video is going to mix a lot of different tenses, but go for the big idea. Yeah. And his idea is just saying, oh, we add on extra information when we use these conectores, groups of words. Okay. Está bien.
Sí,
Sí.
Excelente. Entonces, sí. De nada. Fue un placer. It was a pleasure.